Tonight on CTV News at 6, a police shooting in Sherwood Park.
Our members reacted as they were trained professionally and responsibly.
A man shot and wounded in an RCMP parking lot. Town Hall. Edmonton police address community questions after more extortion targeting South Asian businesses.
We are together, we are standing together, we are standing hand in hand, and we are willing to face any challenge.
And traffic diverted. River Valley Bridge gets a facelift.
Sunshine returns for the next couple of days, and temperatures finally starting to heat back up.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Doors will open in about half an hour for a town hall hosted by Edmonton Police to address a new wave of extortions targeting the South Asian business community. CTV's Nav Sanga joins us now outside of Southwood Community League. Nav, what are people hoping to get out of today's meeting?
Well, Jeff, they want more information about what police are exactly doing to stop these extortions and reassurance that it will be safe for them to come forward and speak to police. Edmonton police say there have been 6 recent incidents. For over a year, a police investigation known as Project Gaslight identified a total of 40 incidents of extortion, arson, and shootings targeting South Asian businesses. Police say these latest extortions are not being included in Project Gaslight. Radio host Gersharn Butler says the perpetrators will start with a phone call demanding a large sum of money. They will also contact employers, colleagues, friends, and family to get the money. He says some community members have hired 24/7 security, and in some cases, people have actually fled the city and country. He hopes today's town hall will send the message that the community is united.
We are together, we are standing together, we are standing hand in hand, and we are willing to face any challenge. And that's a very important message the community need to send. We don't need to leave those people alone over there who have faced this directly. Community should stand by with them. Yes, it could happen to you today, it would happen to us tomorrow, and we are standing with you.
Police say they are investigating connections to the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. India's counter-terrorism law enforcement agency says the gang's leader, Bishnoi, operates his terror syndicate from jails in different states in India. Alberta Premier Daniel Smith has called for the federal government to designate the gang as a terrorist organization in Canada. Now, a similar town hall was held last year, and community members did say it did help build trust with police. Today's town hall will start at 7. Jeff?
All right, thank you, Nav. That is Nav Sanga live for us tonight. A man is in hospital after a shooting at the police detachment in Sherwood Park. RCMP say he showed up in the parking lot this morning with what appeared to be a gun. Nicole Weisberg reports.
RCMP are typically out in the community investigating things like shootings, but today there was a police scene right on their own property in the gated parking lot behind the Strathcona County RCMP detachment. Around 10:30 a.m., RCMP say officers saw a man with what appeared to be a gun walking around the parking lot. We're told the building was immediately put into lockdown. A confrontation occurred and officers opened fire, shooting the man. First aid was given and he was rushed to hospital by ambulance. A man who lives at the seniors' home across the street tells CTV News he heard 3 or 4 gunshots, then saw police surround a person on the ground. The detachment commander here says the situation is unnerving.
There's approximately 2.2 incidents of violence towards police every day, right? This is just very close to home, shall we say. But it is absolutely rare.
This is the 3rd shooting involving Alberta RCMP in the past 10 days. In mid-July, a man was shot and killed by police in Grand Prairie. Police say they attempted to pull him over for driving erratically. After driving off, he took out a gun during a confrontation with them. Yesterday, police shot and killed a man in Lac La Biche. RCMP said during a disturbance call, he attacked one of the officers with a knife before being shot. Alberta's police watchdog, the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team, will be looking into the circumstances surrounding this shooting, as it does in any case where someone is injured or killed by law enforcement. Reporting from Sherwood Park, Nicole Weisberg, CTV News.
The recent death of a 17-year-old girl near Mundare is renewing calls for an overpass at Highways 16 and 855. As CTV's Amanda Anderson reports, it's something many say should have been done years ago.
Hug your kids and tell them how much they mean to you, because you never know when the last time is.
Less than a week ago, Bernie and Allison Paulsett were preparing for their daughter's graduation party. Now they're planning her funeral.
This girl was such a spitfire. The energy she had was just amazing. Her friends, they were so important to her. She had a light. She touched everybody that knew her.
17-year-old Anya excelled in sports, loved to paint, and planned to become a teacher. A bright future cut short. Anya was on her way home from work as a camp counselor. She was on Highway 855, crossing Highway 16, when her vehicle was hit by a semi. An intersection the town's mayor says has been a problem for years.
Fatalities, so accidents almost weekly. Like it's been horrible. When you come up to the stop sign, there's a little hill that comes over, and you cannot really see the oncoming traffic from there. So you're pretty much going blind to go across.
Improvements have been made over the years, including flashing signs, better lighting, and rumble strips to warn about the crossing. But the death of a promising young woman has many who use the crossing, including her parents, saying it's time for an overpass.
It's too late now for us, but if we can save lives further down the road to get that changed, it'll be worth it.
Alberta's transportation minister tells CTV News a study was recently done to see what improvements could be made to this intersection, including the need for an interchange. Detailed design work is expected to start as early as 2026. Once that is complete and funding in place, the minister says construction could be completed within a 2-year window. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, near Mundare.
It's been nearly 2 months since a teenager from Edmonton disappeared. His friends and family are looking for answers. Dozens of friends, family, and supporters gathered at Rossdale Park yesterday for a vigil. Police say 14-year-old Samuel Bird was last seen June 1st, leaving his home to go visit a friend in West Edmonton. His mother says it is unlike her son to go this long without reaching out.
I'm just hoping and praying that we'll get some answers soon so I must know where my boy is, and if he's alive, like that'd be like the best. But if he's not, and I don't think he is, because just everything just stopped. Like no messages, nothing.
Bird is 5 feet 8 inches tall with a slim build. He has brown hair and brown eyes and may have a black eye and stitches on his cheek and nose. Police say he spends time at West Edmonton Mall and is familiar with the city's west and south side. The Edmonton Police Service says crime is down in our city. EPS says compared to 2023, the number of overall crimes reported in Edmonton dropped by more than 6% last year. The city's violent crime rate also saw a nearly 3% decrease compared to a 7% increase the year before. EPS interim chief says disorder-related crimes are still increasing, which has police considering different strategies.
We have people using drugs. We know we have people overdosing. Some it's in public, some it's in private spaces. What is the health response? What partners do we need to partner up with as in terms of social partners or government partners to provide supports to these people? A justice response may not be the answer for the most part.
The city also saw a 153% increase in charges related to the possession of opioids other than heroin. One of Edmonton's oldest bridges is getting a long-awaited facelift. As CTV's Merrick DeCash reports, the rehabilitation of the low-level bridge will impact traffic.
Upgrades to the low-level bridge are underway.
We're doing some construction to extend its life, and we're also doing a big network planning study to basically plan for its ultimate replacement.
Northbound vehicle traffic on the low level has been completely stopped. That traffic is being detoured to the James McDonald Bridge for the duration of construction. Southbound traffic will continue, though there will be occasional lane reductions and full closures.
A lot of the work is being done underneath the bridge. We're strengthening some elements underneath. We're cleaning it. If you look out there, you're going to see it looks like it's very rusted. We're going to clean that up. The bridge itself still has life left, but we're making sure that it's going to last long enough before we actually have to replace it.
A supervisor for the project says despite this year's rehabilitation, the bridge will still need to be replaced within 5 to 7 years.
Oh, that's a problem. I think that's a huge problem. I don't think they can do without that bridge.
Representatives from the Downtown Revitalization Coalition say the project will have a negative impact on businesses and schools downtown.
The issue is not necessarily specific to bridge construction or maintenance. We know that that is necessary. The alarm that we have been raising since the beginning of the year is this is just one more route to our downtown that is blocked.
With Valley Line LRT construction nowhere near completion, Cheryl Watson says this is just another blow to commuters.
You can't have all of these different routes inaccessible all at the same time. So staggering construction projects of main infrastructure traffic routes that are going to impact downtown. You can spread them out.
Construction on the low-level bridge is expected to be complete by the end of the year. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
K-Days is celebrating its highest attendance since the COVID-19 pandemic. Crews were cleaning up the exhibition grounds today after more than 764,000 people walked through the gates this year. Explore Edmonton says it saw a new daily record for single-day attendance with 103,000 people visiting last Wednesday. It says the event will continue to try to attract new visitors and build on annual traditions.
I think the event is on solid foundation. We've seen it grow. I think one of the things that we're most proud of is the fact that we're working with over 200 community partners, over 450 vendors, thousands of staff, local staff and volunteers are involved in the event. So this event is really starting to, I think, reflect Edmonton more so.
Nearly 30,000 corn dogs were eaten throughout the 10-day fair. The Midway also helped raise more than $70,000 for the Alberta Dreams charity, thanks to Edmonton's Chris Sheets. He spent 54 hours riding the Ferris wheel. From heavy downpours to clear blue skies and sunshine, July has been full of different kinds of weather. As Nerman Issa reports, statistically, we're having the summer we're supposed to have with at least one advantage over last year.
And bubblegum is my favorite.
A windy, overcast day may not scream ice cream weather unless you're this trio.
It is ice cream weather every day.
They're not waiting for hot weather to enjoy a cool treat.
It hasn't been sweltering hot like everywhere else, and it hasn't been super rainy. So I think we've got a very good summer.
This ice cream shop worker says it's been a slower month.
You get some business, even though we had like really crappy weather, but of course like that 1 week of rain in like I think beginning of July or something like that, yeah, that didn't really help a lot. Not a lot of business.
July has brought a mixed bag of conditions, but no actual heat wave.
We've seen 9 days below seasonal temperatures, 8 days at seasonal temperatures, and 8 days above seasonal temperatures.
Even though we saw a number of storms, it's not as much rain as some people think.
July so far has been actually a bit on the dry side. It's usually the rainiest month of the year, followed by June, and we're below seasonal rainfall numbers.
Now, statistically, July's daytime high average is 23.5 degrees Celsius, meaning we are on par for this month.
We have this funny thing here in Edmonton where we want to hit 30 degrees, and I think once we hit 30 degrees, we feel like, oh, it's summer, and that's how we calibrate where it should be, but that's really not the case.
While the sun may not be scorching, there is a silver lining.
I'm quite happy with it because we don't have as much smoke as we did last year.
Enjoying Edmonton's summers is important.
You have to do what you have to do. You live in Edmonton and you have to put up with it.
Whether it's rain, shine, or smoke. Nerman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, Josh is here now. Welcome back, Josh.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah, so I'm guessing a few people have said to you, it seems like this is a terrible summer. It's cold, it's wet. It's not, right?
Every single person on the golf course over the past week.
Perception is not reality.
No, not always. Temperatures, as Corey was mentioning, have been right on par with average so far, and not just in July. I mean, if you look at the summer so far, May, June, and July, May came in 3 degrees warmer than average. June was a degree above average. We're right around average. For July, I think we'll probably get to 24 with temperatures bumping up here over the next couple of days. It's just that we haven't had a lot of 25-degree days in July. I mean, we're going to be really close close once we get through the next days to last year for the number of 25-degree days in May, June, July. It's just that we've only had 9 so far this year, and last year in July we had 20. In fact, this is the fewest so far for the month of July since 2020. But if you look at cumulatively, I mean, only 2023 and 2021 have had more through May, June, and July, and only 2024 and 2021 have had significantly more 30-degree days. We're at 4 so far this year, 3 in May, 1 so far in July. We may get another one here over the course of the next 3 days, so we may tie or surpass 2023. And 4 is the average number of 30-degree days in an entire summer. So we're going to end no worse than average and probably above average for the number of 30-degree days. The last week and a half, though, has been cool. That was the case again today. We're at 20 right now, 22 for a daytime high, 2 degrees cooler than average. In fact, most of the last week and a half has been cooler than average. We flipped that script starting tomorrow, though. Those details after or later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Josh. Coming up next on CTV News at 6, an Alberta woman says she's being treated like a drunk driver despite a lifetime of sobriety.
Having this as part of my life right now is been very hard.
Why she says a medical issue has led to a court battle that could last more than a year. Also next, a Parkland County woman convicted multiple times for starving and mistreating horses is fighting fresh charges. A Calgary woman who says she was unable to provide a breathalyzer sample due to an injury is facing a failure to comply charge. She says she's never even consumed alcohol for religious reasons. Now she's trying to fight the charge with proof of sobriety and is facing an uphill battle. Tyler Barrow has more.
Pamela Custa is getting used to biking, but not because it's summer. Early in the spring, she was served with a failure to comply charge and lost driving privileges.
Scariest day I've ever had in my whole life.
On April 24th at 11:30 a.m., she was pulled over for speeding near 114th Avenue and Stony Trail Southeast. It was then she was asked to provide a breathalyzer sample. An earlier fall left her ribs injured, but she didn't think much of it until this. According to the officer's notes, she tried 30 times but was unsuccessful.
I felt every time I was able to just get a good blow in or a good breath in, he would yank it out.
The officer charged her with failure to comply under the Highway Traffic Act. Her license was suspended for 90 days while her vehicle was impounded at a cost of $1,600. Now, her insurance will no longer cover her and she needs a blower device added to her vehicle, and she has to take the Planning Ahead course from the Alberta Motor Association.
Being treated like I'm a drunk driver.
For LaCusta, that's what's especially humiliating. As a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, she says she hasn't had an alcoholic drink in her life. Just hours after she was charged, she got allowed to conduct a urine test verifying she was sober. The Safe Roads Committee still upheld the charge.
I do not wish this on anyone.
By June, she went to a doctor and discovered 2 fractured ribs. By then, it was too late to fight the charge on a medical condition. That's why people need to seek legal advice immediately, according to one expert.
The process is that you can have a hearing in which you can provide evidence of a reasonable excuse. She failed to do that.
LaCusta did, but says the lawyer didn't recommend the medical exam. In response to the incident, the Ministry of Justice says there are instances where people have difficulty providing a breath sample, adding individuals who believe they are medically unable to provide a sample are encouraged to seek medical evaluation, particularly pulmonary function testing, that may help clarify their circumstances in any legal or administrative process that follows. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
LaCusta says while she's planning to keep fighting the charge, her court date is not scheduled until September 2026. A woman in Parkland County convicted multiple times in the past for starving and mistreating horses is fighting fresh charges. Patricia Moore has a court-ordered lifetime ban from owning horses. As Jeremy Thompson reports, Mounties have accused her of violating that order.
Patricia Moore was not in court when her lawyer entered a not guilty plea for the 5 charges she's facing under the criminal code. RCMP laid those charges in April after seizing several horses they described as in distress from a farm near Evansburg. Sources tell CTV this is Patricia or Trish Moore's farm. The gate features equestrian silhouettes and the mailbox with a painted horse reads Moore. A pile of horse manure is just inside a gate elsewhere on the property near a sign warning trespassers trespassers to stay away. Moore is charged with possessing stolen property and 2 counts of causing unnecessary pain and suffering or injury to an animal. Police also allege Moore violated a lifetime ban on owning, possessing, or caring for horses. That ban was imposed the last time Moore was in court. In 2019, police, with help from the SPCA, found 7 dead horses on her property. They would later seize 65 horses and 6 dogs from that farm. In the trial that followed, the veterinarian who autopsied 2 of the animals testified they had starved to death. Moore avoided a criminal conviction in that case, but was found guilty on 4 charges under the Animal Protection Act in 2022. She was also convicted a decade before of permitting horses to be in distress. People in court today for Moore's appearance tell CTV they're frustrated she hasn't faced stiffer penalties for repeat offenses. Police left several horses in Moore's care after that April seizure, ordering her to rehome them as part of her bail conditions. The case will be back in court early next month to set a trial date. In Evansburg, Jeremy Thompson, CTV News.
A potential referendum question has been sent to a judge to make sure it doesn't violate the Constitution. The proposed question is whether people agree with Alberta becoming a sovereign country and ceasing to be a province in Canada. The question was submitted to the electoral officer earlier this month by Mitch Sylvester, an executive with the Alberta Prosperity Project. If approved, Sylvester would still need to collect 177,000 signatures in 4 months to get his question on a ballot. In June, Alberta's electoral officer approved a competing question that seeks to have Alberta make it an official policy that the province will never separate from Canada. The provincial government and Alberta Union of Provincial Employees will enter an enhanced mediation process for contract negotiations. Finance Minister Nate Horner says he spoke with the AUPE president and both parties believe this is the best path towards a fair and equitable agreement. He says the enhanced mediation process will finish by the end of August. The mediator will produce non-binding recommendations for both parties to consider. Back in May, the AUPE reported 90% of its members voted for strike action. The AUPE represents about 23,000 provincial workers. Elections Canada says next month's by-election in Alberta will have an adapted ballot as the number of candidates surpasses 200. Elections Canada has confirmed 209 candidates in the Battle River Crowfoot riding. The riding has been targeted by electoral reform advocacy group The Longest Ballot Committee. Voters will now be required to write the name of the person they're voting for on an adaptive ballot. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to win the riding after losing his Ottawa seat in the spring election. The deadline for nominations for candidates is today. Stay with us. Coming up, shooting for the Big Apple.
It's a great place to play, and it's a great environment to be in.
It's every man for himself at a basketball tournament with a prize of playing in New York City. Also next, a 3-time Olympian leaving the court for the last time in favor of a spot behind the bench.
And one last cool day today, but temperatures jump into the mid-20s tomorrow and highs near 30 Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Forecast after break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Canadian swimming superstar Summer McIntosh is 1 medal closer to her goal at the World Aquatic Championships in Singapore.
And Summer McIntosh is going to win it and win it very, very well. It's Walsh in second place. McIntosh takes another gold medal for Canada.
The 18-year-old Toronto native won gold in the 200-meter individual medley. She finished about a second slower than her own world record set at the Canadian trials earlier this year. McIntosh has already won gold in the 400-meter freestyle and is trying to win 5 golds at the World Aquatic Championships. Michael Phelps is the only person who's accomplished that feat. 3-time Olympian Michelle Plouffe is retiring from international basketball. Canada Basketball says she'll be moving from the court to behind the bench as its new 3x3 performance manager. For more than a decade, Plouffe represented Canada as a standout player. She helped lead Canada to a 4th-place finish at the Paris Olympics in 2024.
Let's go.
A few extra teams on the basketball course during a unique tournament in Edmonton this weekend. Full Court 21 Canada requires 6 players on the court at the same time. The catch is there are no teammates. The first player to score at least 21 points or whoever has the highest score at the end of the time limit wins. The winners will compete in the World Final in New York.
New York is amazing, man. It's everything you can ask for and want in terms of basketball, the atmosphere, the fans, the crowd, everything. Like, it's a great place to play, and it's a great environment to be in.
The final takes place August the 19th. All right, Josh, so people who think it's been cooler than usual this July, well, it's about to get hotter for them.
It's going to be, it was a hot start the first week or so, and then it will be a hot finish as well. We'll show you those numbers in a second. First, take a look outside from the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right where it's free. We're at 20 degrees after hitting 22 for a daytime high today. 19 in Fort McMurray, 23s in through the Peace Country. Jasper made it up to 24 degrees, not quite to 20 in Lloydminster and Coronation. You'll jump on the other side of 20, though, over the next few days. Clear skies from Edmonton off to the north. I mean, there's been a little bit of patchy cloud cover in the Edmonton region that's not showing up all that well on the satellite map, but sunnier off to the northwest. Look to the west and southwest, though, all kinds of thunderstorm activity. This is as expected through the foothills and down to the southwest corner of the province. And in fact, we do still have some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings where these severe storms have popped up. Much like yesterday, the biggest threats are some sizable hail. So it's some really damaging storms pushed through parts of southern Alberta, especially around Cardston yesterday. Once again, tonight, we're going to see some powerful and severe thunderstorms push through southern areas of the province. They may kind of graze Red Deer, but they come nowhere even close to the Edmonton area. Skies will be clearing overnight tonight, and we get mainly sunny skies across Edmonton and areas to the north tomorrow morning. Bit of cloud cover still off to the south and to the east here tomorrow morning, but even that clears out through tomorrow afternoon. It actually looks like not only tomorrow, but for the next couple of days, we should see mainly sunny skies. And the reason is this nice big upper ridge. You see these oranges? This is warm air in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere pushing north. And so if you want clouds and thunderstorms, you'd like some cooler air aloft. When you get this heat aloft, well, that'll give you some fairly clear skies. So it's also helping to boost temperatures over the next couple of days. Sunshine and mid to upper 20s right through to the end of the week. Problem is, for the weekend, looks like it collapses and we get a good chance of some rain across the province. 19 in Fort McMurray, 23 in Grand Prairie right now. It's 19 in Red Deer and 20 here in Edmonton. Temperatures overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning should cool off to about 13 degrees. And you saw the wind was fairly light. It'll stay light through the overnight and through most of the day tomorrow. Mid-20s tomorrow afternoon for the first time. Well, we got to 29 last Thursday, but outside of that, it's been about a week and a half since we had a string of days in the mid to upper 20s. That's what's coming, though. 25 tomorrow, 28 and 29 for daytime highs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Could even hit 30 one or two of those days. There's your weekend, though. Mostly cloudy skies for Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, a little too early to start talking about rainfall totals, although it does look like one or both of these days. Central and northern Alberta, some areas are going to see some fairly significant steady rain. So we'll watch that over the next little while. Long-range forecast keeps temperatures on the cool side to start August, but back into the mid-20s by the middle of next week. That's where we'll be tomorrow before we're up near 30 for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Looks great. Thanks, Josh. Coming up, we are now days away from a Canada-U.S. trade deal deadline.
That's a much more important potential shock to the economy.
Some economists already asking what lies even further ahead for the Canada-U.S. trade relationship. Also next.
Canada believes a two-state solution remains the only viable path.
A push from within the Liberal government to recognize Palestinian statehood as Israel faces mounting pressure about the humanitarian situation in Gaza.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The countdown is on for Canada and the United States to reach a trade deal before U.S. President Donald Trump's deadline this Friday. The threat of tariffs as high as 50% now just days away. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more.
And we're giving food.
Canada's Prime Minister and the American President were both visiting islands and talking trade. Donald Trump in Scotland musing about baseline world tariffs.
I just want to be nice. I would say in the range of 15 to 20%.
The negotiations are at a intense phase. It's a complex negotiation.
While on Prince Edward Island, Mark Carney repeated in French that a deal with no tariffs is unlikely.
We're standing up for Canada, Canadian interests. Of course, the United States is looking out, the President's looking out for the interests of American workers. There is a landing zone that's possible, but we have to get there.
There appears to be a backing away from the tariff for tariff, elbows up sort of combative tone.
Former Foreign Affairs Minister Peter MacKay feels we may not get the kind of deal we want.
Donald Trump has really had his way with many countries, and they are coming to heel and rolling around like kittens on a couch.
While Ontario's premier still hopes Canada is treated differently.
A tariff on Canadians is a tax on Americans. Prices will go up.
It's not the kind of recession-inducing shock that 25% on literally everything would have been.
This University of Calgary economist says a 15% baseline tariff on non-CUSMA compliant goods would still be a net negative for the Canadian economy. But it's important to focus on the bigger picture, what happens with CUSMA down the line.
That's a much more important potential shock to the economy than a 15% baseline with an exemption for trade agreement compliant exports.
Trump's trade deal deadline is Friday, with the Prime Minister saying Canada is still engaged in negotiations. Mark Carney stressing Canada is also already a big investor in the United States as we watch other countries sign deals that require major financial commitments. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
President Donald Trump says he's disappointed in Russia's president. He says he's moving up a deadline for Vladimir Putin to reach a peace agreement with Ukraine.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. No reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
Trump had set a 50-day deadline earlier this month. He has repeatedly expressed frustration with Putin for continuing his attacks on Ukraine. Trump is now threatening to impose further sanctions if no peace deal is reached. A growing number of Liberal MPs are calling on Canada to officially recognize Palestinian statehood. France's president recently outlined his country's plans to do so in the fall. The White House is also taking a stronger stance on humanitarian conditions in Gaza. CTV's Colton Prale reports.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says the idea of peace in the Middle East feels more distant and that a pathway to peace requires Palestinian statehood. But Canada doesn't appear to be any closer to recognizing it.
Je vous remercie.
At a special United Nations meeting focused on a two-state solution in the Middle East, Anita Anand reinforced the country's long-standing position.
Canada believes a two-state solution remains the only viable path to lasting peace for both Palestinians and Israelis.
When asked today whether Canada would join countries like France in plans to officially recognize a Palestinian state, the Prime Minister didn't directly answer the question. It comes as the Liberal leader is facing increasing calls to do so from members of his own party.
Finally taking the critical step towards realizing a two-state solution to peace in the Middle East, recognizing a free and independent state of Palestine.
Sunday, BC MP Will Greaves joining social media calls from fellow Liberal MPs Salma Zahid and Fares Al-Soud to recognize a Palestinian state. Meanwhile, as humanitarian aid trickles back into Gaza, Donald Trump is pushing back on the Israeli assertion that starvation was not occurring in the enclave.
Food, we can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that.
The Prime Minister says Canada has trucks of aid at the Jordanian border, pre-positioned to enter Gaza, but that had been prevented from doing so. He added that he'll take steps to advance a two-state solution, but one that doesn't include any element of Hamas and Palestinian leadership. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to a ceasefire after 5 days of border clashes.
This is a vital first step towards a de-escalation and the restoration of peace and security.
Officials from both nations will meet to further diffuse tensions at the borders. With the help of defense ministers from Malaysia, the countries will work together to develop a detailed plan to maintain peace. A Ukrainian-born Canadian has completed a journey from Calgary to Banff for a cause close to his heart. Alexander Kianitsa made it to Banff yesterday, completing a 200-kilometer walk through the Rockies to raise funds for field hospitals in Ukraine. The Gift of Walking project has already raised more than $24,000 with a goal of $30,000. The money will go toward purchasing life-saving supplies for mobile field hospitals in parts of Ukraine most impacted by the war. The author of a new children's book about the life of Terry Fox is hoping it can keep his memory alive.
A is for adventure. Terry Fox had an older brother, younger brother, and little sister. It was always an adventure when they played together.
Denise Diaz read her book, T is for Terry, an ABC of courage to kids and parents in Scarborough, Ontario this afternoon. The book chronicles Terry Fox's life from his childhood to his Marathon of Hope in 1980. The author says Terry's message of hope and optimism is important now more than ever.
And this book really helps to distill those messages in a really relatable way that can be understood easily by young children and early readers.
The book was created in partnership with Fox's family, and royalties will be donated directly to the Terry Fox Foundation. Still ahead, auto theft down.
I do caution that even though the numbers are still going down, they're still high, and it doesn't mean that we need to take our foot off the gas.
Apparent progress on a big problem, and an iconic girl group reunites on stage for the first time in nearly a decade. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar sitting around 72 cents U.S. Oil is up around $66 U.S. a barrel. Gold saw a $25 drop. On the stock market, the TSX lost 88 points. The Dow Jones down 64 points on the day. Analysts are weighing in ahead of this Wednesday's interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada. Economists polled by Reuters think the central bank will hold its benchmark rate steady at 2.75%. They point to the recent rise in inflation and a slight fall in unemployment for their reasoning. Analysts have also pointed to a lack of clarity around the impact of U.S. tariffs, especially as trade talks with Canada come down to the August 1st deadline. Years after the pandemic forced many companies to send employees home, a new poll suggests the majority of Canadians prefer it that way. A new Angus Reid survey shows 60% of Canadians asked prefer working from home compared to 9% who like to be on-site full-time. 72% of people said they've agreed to return to the office after their employer requested it. 23% said they spend fewer days than required in the office, and 5% quit rather than go back to in-person work. About a third of respondents said they could return to work with no complications if asked by their employer. And a new report finds a sharp decrease in the number of stolen cars and trucks in Canada. As CTV's John Venevalley-Rao reports, the authors are warning owners not to let their guard down.
Despite the improving numbers, on average nationwide, a vehicle is stolen every 10 minutes.
It's all a big shock, to be honest. I kind of feel violated.
Ryan Tostick of Milton, Ontario, is filling out insurance forms after his beloved 2004 Chevy Silverado was swiped from a repair shop just over a week ago. The thief was caught on surveillance cameras. Tostick says his truck had a new engine and says he'd never had anything stolen from him in his life.
Just, yeah, crazy to see what kind of value just is gone within minutes.
But compared to the same period in 2024, in the first half of this year, auto thefts were down 19% nationally, plunging almost 26% in Ontario, while Western and Atlantic Canada saw 9% declines.
I do caution that even though the numbers are still going down, they're still high, and it doesn't mean that we need to take our foot off the gas.
The report says better public awareness and collaborative efforts by governments and law enforcement agencies appear to be making a difference, noting during the pandemic auto thefts rose when the supply chain for new cars was disrupted. peaking in the first half of 2023 at 34,000 and declining ever since. Still, experts note there's been a shift towards stolen vehicles being sent to chop shops.
What's old is new again. Chop shops are having a surgence where they're stealing vehicles and selling it part by part, not only domestically but internationally.
According to the report, more stolen vehicles are being found. 56% were recovered in the first half of this year versus 53% last year.
Personally, I'd like to have the vehicle back. I'm not hopeful, but I'm trying to be hopeful.
And if you're wondering if insurance rates might come down because of fewer thefts, the Insurance Bureau of Canada says thefts still remain above historical levels, adding repair and vehicle replacement costs have also been on the rise. John Vanavalli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Fans of Ozzy Osbourne have been streaming his hits in the days following his death, sending one of his albums rocketing up the charts. The Heavy Metal Icons 2003 compilation, The Essential Ozzy Osbourne, has hit number 7 on the Billboard Top 100. That marks his 10th album to reach the top 10. Osbourne died last week at the age of 76 following a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. Beyoncé capped off her Cowboy Carter tour with a special reunion. Destiny's Child reunited on stage with Michelle Williams and Kelly Rowland joining Beyoncé to play a medley of the group's biggest hits. The last time the three took the stage together was in 2018. Beyoncé's husband, Jay-Z, also performed at the final show. Coming up, the conclusion of a competition to crown Canada's best barista.
The coffee industry just continues to evolve and to push it forward.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Canada's best barista was crowned in Edmonton this weekend. Colombian Coffee Bar and Roastery hosted the finals Sunday. It began with 18 competitors. The finals included the top 6 from across the country, including 2 from Edmonton. Each barista had to impress the panel of judges with ingredients, taste, and technique.
The intent for us to hold this is to show other people in coffee in the city that we can get to higher levels, that we can push each other, that we're not competition, that we're collaborators. And I think that this just tells everybody that we need to come together as a community to grow the industry in this city.
I think from the community, the appreciation for coffee just grows so much more. And I think that the coffee industry just continues to evolve and to push it forward.
Ben Putt from Calgary's Monogram Coffee won, reclaiming the title of Canada's best. This is his 7th Canadian Championship title. He'll represent Canada at the World Barista Championships this fall. The Edmonton competitors from the Colombian came in 4th and 5th.
All right, one last look at your forecast. Warming up over the next couple of days. 13 degrees tomorrow morning, 25. So back into the mid-20s tomorrow, a couple of degrees above average. Sunshine, light wind, more sun for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and heating up even further. Close to 30 for daytime highs through those 3 days. It does look cooler for the weekend with temperatures back into the low 20s for both Saturday and Sunday, and a chance of some showers or maybe even some periods of steadier rain. Either one or both of those days this weekend here in the Edmonton area, and we'll kind of hang out around average, it looks like, right through that first week of August. But if you've been waiting for some heat, next couple of days, July's finally about to deliver.
All right, so how many days of heat before we complain about how hot it is?
By Thursday for sure.
By Thursday, all right.
Thursday.
Thanks, Josh, and thanks for sharing your time with us. News anytime, CTV News Edmonton.ca. See ya.